Happy New Year, welcome back. I am so excited to be posting a video. I say this all the time, but monthly videos in 2025 is the goal. So my camera is flashing like it's about to die, so fingers crossed. So today I want to talk about memoirs I've loved and books I want to read to educate myself / have read. I made a goal, not for my New Year's resolution, but it was last year, just kind of when like all these really messed up things started to happen. Not that they haven't been for a while, but it just kind of gave me a reality check when my sister's able to like speak on situations in the past that have happened or current events, and it's just like I want to be able to speak on these as well, or like educate myself to know more about what's going on in the world / what has happened in the world to lead up to where we're at today. Okay, so let's first talk about memoirs. I became a memoir girly in 2024. I started reading a ton of memoirs, mostly as audiobooks. I love learning about other people's lives and their experiences and what they've gone through. It just puts a lot of things into perspective. In no particular order of when I've read them or my favorites or anything like that. I'm just gonna start with Crying in hmart. One of the first memoirs I've read in a long time. This was a while ago, and it's basically just about a Korean woman, and she talks about growing up with her mother, who is kind of intense, and just coming to living in America and the food and traveling back to where their home where they came from. And it just talks about her experience growing up and then just life with her mother now that she has a terminal illness, and just kind of her experiences that have formed because of her mother, no matter how intense, no matter how strict she was, or quote unquote crazy. She kind of reflects on how that has shaped her, and the food her mom has made, and the trips to hmart that have shaped her and her life and her relationship with food and her culture, the people around her. Next is Know My Name by Chanel Miller. If you don't know this book, please run and grab this book and read it. Men, women, everyone needs to read this book, maybe especially men. It just kind of shows the corruptness in the system, and Brock Turner got 6 months after what he did to Chanel. She reads the book in the audiobook, and she reads her victim statement, and you can literally hear her voice shaking, like breaking, and it's so heartbreaking to hear how that went for her. It was such a thing online, and to actually like hear her experience, because during that whole time she was known as Jane Doe, and then to hear it come from her, who is now identified as Chanel Miller, was rattling. And I stand with her and every victim, and it just makes you not feel so alone. Okay, next is I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. This book was just like, whoa, like wow, you really don't know what is happening in people's lives. It was absolutely crazy we were watching her on TV as kids, and you just had no idea that that was her life. It again puts things into a whole new perspective. You really don't know what's going on in someone's life. Down the Train by Julia Fox. Oh my god, I didn't know what to expect. I'm like, okay, I'll give it a try. I've heard some really good things. Heard of her. I know about the Uncut Gems, like her and Kanye. Holy moly, she lived a life and a half, or a million lives. It was wow. And when it becomes a movie, I'm gonna be running to the theater to watch that movie, because wow, I am a Julia Fox stan now. Like, her life was crazy, you guys. Like, read it, listen to it, I don't care. I loved her book. Wow, she has lived an incredible, crazy, insane life. I'm mesmerized by her now. Next is The Sound of Gravel. This is a book about a polygamous family, and one of the daughters, there's so many kids, she grows up polygamous, and she kind of begins to realize like she does not agree with her family's beliefs. And it's just like, wow, someone without an education can really just like accomplish anything. Like, if you put your mind to it and you have the grit and the desire and the strength to do something, you can really just do anything. It was inspiring. It was like jaw-dropping. It was just wow, the way some people live. It's just like, whoa. The House in the Sky is actually by an author who is from the province I live in, and she actually lived in the city I live in for a while too, but she loved to travel. She was a journalist, and then she got captured in one of the most dangerous countries in the world, and she recounts her experience being captured and held hostage for like a year. when people say like she was so like not naive, like she knew about dangerous things, but she was like, mom, like I'm fine, like just get off my back, and like the thing you don't think is gonna happen can happen. So it was mesmerizing. It makes you think twice. Everything I Know About Love by Dolly Alderton, a book talk, bookstagram classic. I just feel like everyone in their 20s and 30s needs to read this, or however, it's just kind of like she tells her experiences, everything she knows about love, friendships, being a woman in the modern world, dating, with friendships, and I need to reread it and like tab it. I need to annotate it. I really, really love Dolly Alderton and her work. Camera died, but we're back after a little charge. So when men have called her crazy, Anna Marie Tendler checks herself into a mental hospital, a psych institution, after years of dealing with her mental health, and she recounts her experiences with men that have basically led to how she got there and got up to this point with being in the psych ward and her mental health. Books I have read that have educated me, or I've been reading to educate myself, I've only read 2. It's been a busy couple months. So I first read Notes on an Undocumented Citizen, and what a great start, because I learned so much. This book, our author tells us that he is an illegal refugee. He's an undocumented citizen. I had no idea how hard that is for someone, and that there are people walking around having so much trouble getting into our country just to live a better life, and they have no choice but to send their kids over illegally, and they grow up undocumented because the process is so difficult once you're here to then become legal. What a messed up system, you guys. If there was just an easier process, like instead of creating a wall or creating more laws or trying to get people out, why don't we focus on making it easier for them so people don't have to come illegally? They can try. Like, I just think that, like, I had no idea. I had no idea that just people have that much trouble, and like you don't want to go back because you can't get back in. Like, I was shocked by this author's story. I did learn so much, and it makes me mind boggled, but there's so many things about this world just keeps happening that makes me feel a little crazy. So okay, and the next one I read was Animal Farm. It just kind of showed the hierarchy, but based on animals, and how it just creates chaos, complete chaos, and when power gets to someone's head, the things that they will do to others. So other books that I want to read that will educate me. Okay, other books that I want to read that will educate me are It's Not Hysteria, so Everything You Need to Know About Your Reproductive Health, But We're Never Told, by Karen Tang. So as a woman, sign me up. Abolition of Prisons, A World Without Police, Mutual Aid, The Handmaid's Tale, Men Who Hate Women, and Human Acts. Human Acts I started as an audiobook, but I didn't, I wasn't getting what I needed out of it, so I'm going to read it physically. I'm going to finish my current read, and then there's 2 more I need to read, and then I'm going to buddy read it with my sister. And then I'll be reading that one, so that's coming up. But so many books. If you follow me on Goodreads, you can see all my want to reads. Goodreads, Bookstagram is a really good one, and then just other videos, short little videos on Book Talk as well. But thanks for watching, guys. Let's educate ourselves. And if you don't want to read books to educate yourself, find podcasts, read articles. There's so many ways to do it. I think it's a very important time to be educating yourself and be able to speak on behalf of what you believe in and what you want, be able to back up those beliefs and the things you stand for. And that's how I'm feeling, and it is a scary world to grow up in right now and get older, and I think it's best to do what you can to understand it a bit more. Not that it's always going to make things better, but you definitely could have an impact if you tried. So you try to learn and educate others. I wish I don't have all the answers. No one really does. So to end on a way better note, just read lots of good books, take care of yourselves, and be back in February for another video. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and let me know in the comments if you have any more recs for me on ways to educate myself, whether that also is pods, articles, anything, like drop them all below. Okay, bye everyone.